All right. Chuck's Chat NFL Week 9 this week. We have the full cast of characters. It took us till Week 9, but everyone's here. The usual suspects, Noah and Teddy, and Jeff, sometimes kind of the usual suspect.
Yep.
But Jeff is back from his hiatus, and joining us for the first time, Mike Zacco. How you feeling for first show back in a while? You ran a marathon, for those who don't know. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Chuck. It's good to be back off the IR. You know what I mean? But we're back to full strength. This is very exciting, as we knew this was going to be led up to it. It was the people's secret, but leaks of it got out a couple weeks before. But we're happy to be back. Happy to make some picks. A lot has changed too, especially with the legalization in most states of gambling. But we're back. Also, my hair. I need to get a haircut. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, the flow's coming out. So just to recap here from I can't minimize the Zoom. Well, wait, let me see if I can do this. All right, so from week 7, so Jeff went 2-3, 31, 28 and 1, 53%, 2, 3 and 1 on locks, unless I missed. All right, now I don't think Jeff was here, did a week 7. Let me skip that. Taddy week 7, 1-5, year to date, 27, 28 and 2, 49%, 3 and 4 on locks. Noah 4-3, 32, 22 and 1, 2, 5 and 1. He's 59%, and then I went 4-3, 30 and 21, 5 and 2 on locks, 59%. So before we get into the games this week, Teddy, will start with you here. If there's anything that you wanted to wrap up from last week and get into your player of the week, best performance and worst performance.
Yeah, I just want to say the last 2 weeks, I'm sorry. I've just been on a hiatus. Nothing to do about it. So I'm ready to be back for the second half. Well, we're not even the second half of the season, but what I think it is. But just getting into it, my player of the week is going to be Mike White. Obviously, no one knew about him a week ago. Congrats to the guy that bet on him to have the highest passing in week 8, made more than his salary. But 405 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. Good for him. I'm going to go with the best performance of the week. I got to go with the Birds. I mean, we were there. It felt great to see a great win. Obviously, it's the Lions, but I mean, it was almost a shutout, little goose egg for a while there. And the worst, going to be the Titans. They should have won that game. They were up 14 early in the first quarter, I believe. Carson Wentz, good for him. He still stinks. And I'm just going to keep it short with that because I hate Carson Wentz. But keep playing, buddy. We need that pick.
You worried me there. You said Titans. I was like, what?
Oh, I meant the Colts. Sorry.
I know.
Sorry about that.
Eventually, I picked up that you meant the Colts, but.
I had the same player of the week in best performance. Now, if you wanted to rattle off yours.
I had Mike White for my best player of the week. It really wasn't a good week for player of the week. There wasn't really many players that stood out. Like Cooper Kupp did his usual thing. But there wasn't really many standout players. Mike White, he dumped a lot of passes off to his running back, but anytime you throw 400 yards and it's your second career start. Wait, was this his first career start? He didn't start last week. He just came in for it's awesome. Best performance was the Titans after coming down from 14 in the first quarter and ending up winning that in overtime. Carson Wentz is a bum. I was loving that game. And then my worst performance was the Jags. They got toasted by a Geno Smith-led Seahawks team. And the Seahawks defense isn't even that good. They can only muster up 7 points. I know Robinson got hurt, but I'd expect more from Trevor Lawrence. That whole organization is a dumpster fire right now.
The Jags are tough, and Teddy's uncle had us all bet on the Jags.
Yeah, I bet on the Jags too. My last 3 weeks have been terribly cold. Even though I was 4-3 week 7, I think 5-4 week 6. Every bet that I place bigger money on, I've lost. So I am down every single week. I think last week, thank God it didn't happen for the show. I went 1-6 maybe. I don't even know. It was bad.
And then Jeff, what'd you have for your three awards there?
So I also had Mike White. After his performance, I was really hoping the Giants would trade for him, but that didn't happen. So see the trade deadline ending or coming to an end. Performance of the week, I got to go with the Saints. You beat Tom Brady. After losing your starting quarterback, get well soon, Jameis. And my worst performance of the week has to go to the Minnesota Vikings. Losing to a Dakless Cowboys is just embarrassing, and you're a fraud in the organization if you manage to pull that off.
Felt like a little extra something behind that for our new guest here. I also had them as the worst performance of the week, and it did have something to do with me betting on them as well. Zaka, what are your debut awards here? Do we have a clean sweep of Mike White?
No, we did not have a clean sweep of Mike White. So my player of the week will go to Aaron Rodgers because of his greatness. I do not understand why so many people doubt this man, especially when it comes to him being shorthanded. He thrives in these games. Not to mention, I think my takes on Cardinals, which we'll get to at a later time. However,
they are on the docket today for games of the week,
I
so you can
did
get
not
into it.
doubt him one bit, and look what happened. They performed, and obviously with a couple lucky things that go here and there, and that's just the nature of the NFL sometimes, right? He still did it with nobody and a 55-year-old Randall Cobb. So I give him my player of the week. He's great, and I hate him so much, but I respect his game as a Vikings fan. So
that was a crazy game.
Yeah,
Crazy game.
That was one of the biggest roller coasters of my life.
And what I have here, so the best performance of the week, I think, goes down to the Patriots, the win over the Chargers. I think we crowned the Chargers a little too early that they're back, but they still might have some of their Charger tendencies, which we'll see how the season plays out. I think it's just a testament to what Belichick can do as a head coach. And then the worst performance of the week goes to my Minnesota Vikings. 4 field goals. You lose to a backup quarterback, and you have one of the highest paid quarterbacks who is expected to play. And also Zimmer. I think Zimmer's on the hot seat. Conversation for another day, right? But what are you doing? Terrible game management, especially the last 5 minutes of the game. You score 4 field goals, right, while you're entering the red zone or close within the 30. You need to convert. And that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah, and that, just looking at the Viking schedule too, they're kind of in the thick of it here with what they have coming up. They really needed that win. They have now at Baltimore, at the LA Chargers, host the Packers, and then at the 49ers, which all those, especially the 49ers game, is going to be huge for playoff implications. Because the 6 and 7 seed are going to be up for grabs in the NFC. There's basically 5 one-loss teams, and then it's, anyone's guess. Like the Eagles are actually in it. Like if the Giants had beaten the Chiefs, it would have been like the Giants can make a run. So that's an important stretch coming up for the Vikings. So getting into the first game here. If you guys do want to talk, so this was the first game I had. If you guys still want to talk about it, Packers at Chiefs, it's a little different now, or should I just skip, go to the next game?
I'll talk about it. I think the line's at, last time I saw, was at 7.5 in favor of the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Packers cover. I think they cover that because the Chiefs just aren't a good team this year. Every week I have been waiting to say that this is like their breakout week. I have been saying this is their get right week every single week, and it just hasn't happened. Even against the lowly Giants, they put up 20 points against that team. Their defense is bad. Their offense is bad. That is a bad team. They beat them by 3. The Packers are nowhere near what they are with Jordan Love instead of Aaron Rodgers, but they get Devontae Adams back. All he has to do is just throw the ball to Devontae Adams, and they'll be fine, and hand the ball off to Aaron Jones, and they'll be fine. They might not win this game. I really don't know what they have in Jordan Love. He's really gotten only a very limited amount of playing time. So he could be okay. He could be solid enough to cover a 7.5 spread. He could be terrible. I would lean towards them covering 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff, I need to know what you think. This is your squad here.
I know this is my home away from home team. I don't know. I think I kind of in the same boat as Noah, where like I am a adamant Chiefs better to my own fault. Where like every time I see them, like, oh, it's the Chiefs, they're gonna win by 50 like every single game, and they just really haven't. I think Noah brought up Jordan Love, but you can't bet against the boat. They just signed Blake Bortles to the practice squad, eligible to play this Sunday. I don't know, man. I think this could get dicey. I think if Aaron Rodgers was playing, I think I would have been all over the Packers money line because I believe they were probably slim favorites. I don't even know if they were.
Yeah,
money line was probably like minus 110, minus 120 on like each, so it probably wasn't even plus money, but I would have been all over them spread money line every which way I would have taken them. But I think I don't know what it's at. If it's actually at 7.5, I think that's probably. I feel like it's probably too little. Just for I don't know what we're gonna get out of Blake or Jordan Love, whoever starts.
It'll be Jordan Love.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they would sign Bortles is just a backup
because
in case Jordan Love gets cut in half. Yeah.
Their quarterback room for the Packers, their third string got COVID too, so it was just Jordan Love. So they need an emergency. So Blake Bortles.
Maybe Jordan Love's the emergency. Don't get ahead of let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Blake
I don't know. I think starting is to be his first start. It's going to be his first snaps too.
I want to say he played last year.
He definitely played at some point last year. Like he got in at the end of a couple games. I don't know any specifics, but I remember him getting in at some point last year.
They had the 1 seed, so they probably there's probably a point where they
coasted for like a half. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna just go against my team and say that this is Chiefs get right week. Shout out Noah. But I think this is the time they finally wake up.
You're falling into the trap, my friend.
I already know because I've been betting the Packers for my entire life. And I'm going against it because Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, and now they're going to win outright.
No,
if you listen to this, take Packers outright.
I bet you they could win outright. Their defense, Chiefs defense, is one of the worst defenses in the league. Period. In almost every category. I don't care who's playing at quarterback. That team is well coached.
Quarterbacks don't play defense.
They're going to cover the 7.5. And Jeff, they might win outright. I think the Chiefs are not what we expect right now. To compare to college, when you see Clemson this year, you're like, oh, like you think it's Clemson of the last 4 or 5 seasons, but it's not. Same thing with the Chiefs. It's not the same Chiefs team. We were so calculated with them. I think they might win outright, but that's too crazy. I'd take the 7.5 easy.
Taddy, what side are you on?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you still LaFleur's got a game plan and get those scripted plays early. I mean, you don't really need Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you do need Aaron Rodgers for that, but I think if you put together a good game plan early, the Chiefs defense, you get ahead of them and you go up a little bit. I think they continue to roll, and the Chiefs don't feel like they're going to be able to put up 17 points if they're down or something like that to pull a win. So I'm going to go with the Packers. I don't know if they'll win. But yeah, I'll go with the spread. I think 7.5 is a good number. It's football number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with you too. I think the Packers will cover the 7.5. I still actually feel good about my plus 2.5 and money line. We're at the point where eight games in, like the Chiefs just are who they are at this point. Like they're not gonna turn into an AFC title contender. They're not a true Super Bowl contender. And this is something maybe for another show, the Bills have never, in our lifetime, have never been in this position where it's get to the Super Bowl or bust. Like, there's no one else in the AFC. It's them. The Bengals have a lot of flaws. The Ravens have a lot of flaws. The Chiefs aren't there. Like, it's time for Buffalo to make a Super Bowl. And Matt LaFleur, no one has more wins through their first 40 games. I don't think he gets enough credit because of all the drama with Aaron Rodgers through the off seasons of how good of a coach he is. It's very difficult. I don't care who your quarterback is. First 40 games have the most wins in NFL history. I will trust them. I think they can win the game outright. If Jordan Love he just needs to be steady, don't make any terrible mistakes, and they can win the game. So I really love 7.5. This is a good game for teasers. They're not going to get Chiefs can't blow anyone out.
It's not like Jordan Love's just some bum. They drafted him in the first round last year. Like he was supposed to be a a high first round draft pick, and he kind of slid. I mean, he wasn't supposed to go like top 5, top 10, anything crazy, but he got down in the 20s. And that's where they got him. I don't know. He could turn some heads. It could be really bad, but like I said, I like the Packers plus 7.5.
Tony, we'll start with you on this next game. It's your mom's squad, the Dirty Birds in the South, going to New Orleans. Saints are a 6-point favorite in the Dome. Over under is 42.
So I'll tell you this: the Saints really surprised me last week, as I was really on this show. But among my friends, I love the Bucks -4.5. Now Brady almost came back, and at the end you saw that pick that was miserable. But I think right now the Falcons this year, and I've kind of went 50-50 on them. I really don't have the best read on this game. I think 6 is a lot for the Saints, but I think potentially the over probably will hit. I like the over more than taking the spread over 42. But take the -6 right now and pray that Philip Rivers gets signed, and all that speculation. Maybe do that, but I really don't like the Saints -6. It's just a safe play, but I do like the over 42.
Okay.
Did I just cut out?
Yeah, you cut out a couple times,
I
but
heard
you like the over
I don't even know
42.
your pick. You can just know from the top. We didn't hear a damn thing.
You like the over 42. Something about Philip Rivers might get signed. Taddy, what do you think about this game?
I just like to know. I think right now, as it sits, the NFC South has 3 playoff teams, which is wild to me.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Panthers, the Saints, and the Bucks. So I think every divisional game means a lot more. The Falcons, they can just be that team everyone beats up on. So I think the Saints roll. I'm not really too worried. Sean Payton, he's seen the Falcons a billion times. I think they're going to roll with -6. That's an easy number. And I'll lean with the over too. 42, just kind of having a little brawl. Maybe the Falcons' mysterious garbage time points like the Eagles do too. So I'll go with the -6 and the over.
Noah, where are you leaning?
I don't know. It's very hard to get a read
just
on
told
this
you.
game. I think so. The Saints are the weirdest team in the NFL. They are 5-2, but they lost to the Giants and they lost to the
they
Panthers.
did.
Those are 2 terrible teams, and they beat the Bucks. Who else did they beat? They beat the Bucks. I'm looking it up right now.
The Saints beat the Bucks, the Patriots, the Packers, and the Seahawks.
Yeah, with Russell Wilson, correct? Yes.
No,
No. That was last week. Yeah, that was last week.
Don't tarnish Gino's name.
Still, they make
What was that, Mike?
absolutely
Couldn't
no
hear you.
sense. Like, I have not thought of them as a good team this year, and somehow they're 5-2. This could be another one of those where they are heavily the favorites. They're -6, but they just end up losing to this bum squad like the Giants and the Panthers. So I kind of like the Falcons +6 here, but I'm still very much staying away from this. And I think the Falcons could even win outright because of that. Just because the Saint, I know they're not playing with Jameis, so I don't know how much of their weird factor has to do with Jameis. But Taysom Hill might not play, and I don't really think they'll be able to recapture that same magic they did with Trevor Siemian against the Bucs this past week. So this could be a spot for the Falcons to gain a spot in that division.
Jeff.
So Noah, first of all, if you ever talk bad about my Giants again, I will drive down to you and Chuck's place and burn it to the ground. That's your first and final warning ever. I like the Saints -6, and I like the under. I feel like it's just going to be kind of like a Army-Navy type run the ball until you can't anymore. And I think it's going to be a complete barn burner. It's probably going to be like 10-0. Or like, how about that? Like not even any touchdowns. I think it's going to be 9-0. All field goals.
Really
Boring game. Boring game. Don't even bother tuning in.
Yeah, no Ridley Zacco. I like the Falcons here +6 rivalry game. The Saints, they're gonna have to win ugly. They had to win ugly before, but even now without Jameis, and especially if they start Taysom Hill, every time they started Taysom Hill last year, it was a lot of running, relying on the defense. And with the total being 42, 6 seems like a big number to me for what 42 is. So like, and since I don't think the Falcons are gonna get blown out, that would lead me to believe they're gonna stay like a 24-20, something in that area. Either way.
Saints are playing at home too.
Yes. Then also maybe a little letdown. They celebrated really hard after that Bucks win.
Yeah.
Anytime you got Jameis with the crutches dancing around, things kind of went off the rails. Cleveland at Cincinnati. This is a really interesting game. Jeff, I want to start with you on this one. OBJ's out. His Cleveland career is over. They're going to Cincinnati. Both teams coming off some tough losses a week ago. Cincinnati 2.5-point favorite, over under is 47.
So I have to lean towards picking the Browns and the points because something about it, I don't know why, but it's a crucial flaw of mine. I just love Baker Mayfield. Maybe not the best quarterback, but his swagger and the fact that he constantly bets on himself and how vehemently he defends himself against Colin Cowherd because that guy's a fraud. I just have a lot of respect for him. His football game, could be better. But I don't know. And I still think, the Bengals are still the Bengals of like the 1-15 in the years previous, like just kind of stinking. I guess that's kind of more of not even really looking at any of this season's games between them. I'm just going from my gut of the history. Both teams stink. Cleveland was better more recently, so therefore I got to go with the Browns plus 2.5. And probably, I know I just said both teams stink. I can see this being over.
Yeah, the Browns let up a ton of passing yards.
Yeah, they just Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Teddy, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I'm kind of conflicted as well with who I'm going to take. I'm probably going to figure out as I talk about this, but, Cleveland with the whole OBJ thing, obviously OBJ wanted the team to pick him over Baker, and Baker's their guy. So I feel like Baker's that type of dude that if someone holds a grudge against him, he's going to come out and show out. So that's probably what I'm leaning towards, more of Cleveland. I know they both came off losses, but Cincy somehow is a good team, but the AFC is still a disaster. So I feel like they bring themselves back to reality. I don't know if they're going to ever make that run to become an outlier, like near the Bills. I think they're just going to be hanging in the middle of the pack. So I'll probably lean towards Cleveland. I also have bet Cleveland like every week, and they've dogged me, pun intended. And I'm going to take the dogs as a dog. So I'll take Cleveland minus 2.5 or plus 2.5.
I agree with you. I think it's like a fuck OBJ game from Cleveland. They're going to have a little extra intensity and hopefully, I guess, win the game, but I'll take them losing by 2. Works for me. Cleveland plus 2.5. Noah.
I feel very square for taking this, but I do like the Bengals minus 2.5. The Browns put up 42 against the Chargers 4 weeks ago. They have not scored more than 17 points since. They went 14, 17, 10. I know they've been playing hurt. I know they played one of those games without Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Baker Mayfield, but that was the game they won. Baker Mayfield's playing hurt and not just banged up. Like his left shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, is torn to shreds right now. And it showed. I think they kind of get right a little bit this week. They're still without Kareem Hunt. They could get into that 20-point range finally. But I think the Bengals are in a big bounce back spot after a tough emotional loss to the Jets after a terrible unnecessary roughness call against them that pretty much lost them the game. I see the Bengals getting right. They are a legitimate playoff team. The Browns, as much as I love them, I think they're going to be on the outside looking in this year. It's going to be tough to kind of get right later in the season after coming off of all these injuries when there's already a plethora of good AFC teams around them.
And then Mike finishing up this game here.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Noah, so I won't be repetitive. I love the Bengals minus 2.5. Cleveland Browns are dysfunctional right now. I think it's a sinking ship. I think currently right now that there's a lot of tension and animosity in the locker room, and there's a lack of organization, a lack of leadership when it comes to that. How do you let that get released? Why does that happen? I think Joe Mixon goes for at least 95 on the ground, total purpose, maybe 95 rushing alone. and Joey Burrow and the boys bounce back. I love 2.5.
All right. So next game, NFC West. Second time these two teams have played. Cardinals going to, I'm going to call it Candlestick. I know it's not. In San Francisco. It is a pick 'em. Over under is 45.5. Zach, if you want to lead us off with this one.
So I've been very much against what the Cardinals record has shown based off just the eyeball test.
Wait, Zaka, let me stop you for a second. Now, a good idea on the let's do a second meeting thing because Zaka is about to rant about the Cardinals here.
He's gonna burn the rest of the time.
I forgot.
Timer.
3 meetings later,
Here's what
we're
I've been
on the
playing with the
Cardinals.
Cardinals since Madden 05. Let me tell you, they're a great program. Thanks, Mike. We don't care.
Wait, hold on. I think it has to do with Kyler Murray running quarterback. That's all I have to get. That's all I got to say.
So actually, on the contrary, I love the Cardinals offense. I
Even
think
though Kyler Murray's your first quarterback?
it's fun, it's exciting,
It is.
and how they came back against the Packers has to say something, and that's something that changed my mind just about them. Even with having now they're not an undefeated team anymore. I think the San Francisco 49ers are an inconsistent team. We don't know what direction we're going. We're kind of just trusting Kyle Shanahan. And I don't think things have been questioned about just his schemes and how his teams performed. And I get it. There's been a lot of inconsistency on the quarterback position. But you kind of praised him and you put him in this upper echelon of categories. And I don't think he's lived up to it. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury, on the other hand, deserves as much credit as Kyler Murray and that offense has been, because they've been fun to watch. I think the Cardinals probably beat them by even more than 3. I think this is probably a great teaser too. But I like the Cardinals to take them outright because it's basically a pick 'em. But I thought before that game against the Packers definitely changed my mind a little bit. I still think they're young and inexperienced, and they might be here to stay. But for right now, I like them in this game, but we'll see what happens further in the season.
Noah, what do you think about this game?
I like the Niners. I like the Niners. I don't have them on my card, but I might actually end up taking them money line here. The Cardinals beat them by 1 touchdown in Arizona. And I think the Niners are still better than the record.
And that was Trey Lance. Now they'll get Jimmy Garoppolo.
Correct. They've had some inconsistent quarterback play, but when you look at their losses, you have the touchdown loss to the Cardinals with Trey Lance. They lost to the Packers by 2, and they lost to the Seahawks by a touchdown. I would say the Seahawks with Russell Wilson are just an overall better team. I think the Cardinals are obviously an overall better team. Packers are an overall better team. Then they had that weird rain game with the Colts. I don't look too much into that. But I feel like they just match up well against the Cardinals. They are a very physical football team. Their defense has always been very physical for the last 10 years or so, for as long as I can remember at the very least. And they will just run the ball down your throat. Even without, Mostert. Their rookie, Elijah Mitchell, he had over 100 yards last week. The dude Kyle Shanahan just puts his offense in the best possible position to score points and get yards. He just does. I know, Zachary, you said you had questions about him, and I get it. You know, they went to the Super Bowl the one year, and they've kind of been iffy since, but they've been hurt. I think they're just going to out-physical the Cardinals, who, as electric as they are, play a cute type of football. And I think in San Francisco, they're just going to get, like I said, out-physicaled by the 49ers.
Teddy, where are you at on this game?
Yeah, I really do like the Niners here. Again, going to that last game, they played each other. The Niners held the Cardinals to 17 points. It's the lowest all year besides the Packers. So anytime you can keep yourself in a ball game, holding the Cardinals like an electric offense to 17 points. And then if you're getting your quarterback back, obviously Noah kind of alluded to that offense, so you can run the ball down your throat. The physicality of it. I love the Niners here. And again, at home too. And the stick, as you can say.
Stick, yep.
For over-under, I still have no clue, 45.5. I'm probably going to stay away. But, yeah, love the Niners as a pick. I'm even +1 money line.
And then Jeff.
I know we're running short on time here, not to go on a Tony rant. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I like the Niners. I'm not really the biggest fan of the Cardinals. Seeing how they lost, I mean, yeah, you could say it came down to one. They lost to the Packers. But you got to close out that game if you're on your own. If you're in the red zone, you got to at least get it to overtime. I understand you don't understand an overtime loss, but you gotta win that game, or at least get yourself in the position to win, which they did till that final play. I like the 49ers. I think I do agree that I think they're much better than their record. And I mean, they need to win at home. They're winless at home. I think the 49ers fans are, they're getting antsy. I think this is the week, perfect time, kind of. Not a body clock game. I'm trying to think like a get right week for them. Kind of figure out, get all the kinks out. They kind of messed around the first few weeks. Now they're back, ready to go. And over under, I think I want to take the over. I can see this being high scoring on the end of Kyler Murray having some garbage touchdowns and garbage time points being put up towards the tail end.
Yeah, I am also on the 49ers here. I don't trust the Cardinals' run defense. I think the J.J. Watt injury is going to really hurt them the rest of the season, unfortunately. And the 49ers should be able to find success running the ball. It's kind of all the same things I said the first time these two teams played each other. Granted, the 49ers didn't cover, but I felt like they were a play away here or there, and I trust Jimmy G more than Trey Lance. So I do like the 49ers here as well. If I had to go with the total, I'd probably say under. Feels like another kind of, I don't even know like a rock fight, to use the basketball term.
So the tables have turned.
Smash mouth football.
Yeah, so now it's just Tony on the Cardinals on his island there. All right, last game, Sunday Night Football. It's lost a little luster because of Derrick Henry's unfortunate injury. F's in the chat for me and Noah, who had plus 3,000 Derrick Henry to win MVP. That is dead officially. Titans going to LA. Rams are 7.5 point favorite. The over/under is 53.5. Jeff, if you wanted to lead us off with this one, SoFi Stadium should be rocking for Sunday Night Football.
Rams minus 7.5, under 53.5. I don't think the Titans can even come close to competing. Derrick Henry is, and will always be their entire team. Now that he's gone, they really have nothing. And I just think the Rams are just going to play their typical Rams football and just kind of roll them. I know like the Titans D is solid. I think they just don't have the offense to keep up. And unless it really, like the defense would have to step up to try to slow them down, but I don't think there's a chance. Especially knowing you have no offense going the other way, they're just going to be the defense is going to be tired.
Teddy, how do you see this one?
Yeah, I want to go with the Rams as well. The 7.5, I mean, it's a lot. I still feel like they're clicking on all cylinders. They're just doing everything they possibly can well. This should be an easy win for them. Titans, again, when you lose an MVP, you're kind of shit out of luck. Over under, I really don't know. I don't know if the Rams are going to start looking ahead a little bit and maybe backward cover, which I don't hope happens, but because they're playing the Niners next week. So I don't know if they're just going to let up some garbage points at the end and have it go over. But I'm going to go with the Rams, and then I'll stick with the under. It's going to be a doozy on a Sunday night.
And then Noah, your sister team.
I hate to tell you guys, but the Titans are covering this game. They're covering.
No.
No way, really? Come on. I just took the Rams. Don't give me that now.
So after the Colts went up 14-0, the Titans outscored them 34-17. And Derrick Henry in that game rushed the ball 28 times for only 68 yards. He did nothing. They outscored them 34-17 without their by far best player really doing anything to make a difference. AJ Brown has emerged since Ben has traded him to me in our fantasy football league.
For what? The Chargers defense and Marquez Callaway.
Good trade. AJ Brown has been a monster on the field of late. I can't really see Adrian Peterson doing too much for them. But I think they're going to gear their offense a little bit more towards a pass attack. Ryan Tannehill did throw 33 passes last week. They still have Julio Jones. They could start using Jeremy McNichols a little bit more and extend the running game by going with a lot of screens out of the backfield. I think it's going to be hard for them to win this game, but 7.5 points is a lot of points for a Titans team that has proved that they can compete with the best teams in the league. I mean, they beat the Bills. Was that in Buffalo? I don't think it was.
No, it was in Tennessee.
It was in Tennessee. Yeah. They might not win, but they're going to cover 7.5.
Derrick Henry had 3 touchdowns that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There goes your run game. Part of their success. I'm going to say
it's part of their success, but
part of their success is being able to establish a run or the threat of establishing any kind of run game. And now you really don't have to worry about that at all.
Just take it out of the box.
Yeah, I'm with Noah on this one. I think the Titans cover. I think this is an overreaction. They're still a very good team. They can generate a lot of offense without Derrick Henry. Whatever hopes they had of making a deep playoff run are shot because of not having Derrick Henry. But they'll be able to keep up with the Rams and I think keep it inside. I like the 7.5. Keep it inside that number there. But I think, Teddy, what you said too, with the look ahead might be a thing. It's easy. It's much easier to take the Titans lightly at home now that they don't have Derrick Henry when you're looking like, okay, we could possibly end the 49ers season next week and keep this train rolling. Mike.
Okay. I have bet the Titans every single week this season. Bet the spread. They have covered 75% of the time. I think the Rams are about like 50%. 7.5 points is a lot. All right. And I love it. I love it so much that it's so wrong that I'm taking the Rams just because they're in a sense spin zone back against the wall. They are even more all in by going for the Von Miller trade. Now you're not going to get that Von Miller of 5-6 years ago, obviously, but it's the essence of getting rid of more picks because you're in a huge win now mentality. And they have nothing. They lose, it's over in the sense their window is going to be very small. But this year, I think the Rams are coming from not a hungry dog runs faster mentality where it's like we have to win or else, which that comes a lot of pressure. I get that. That could go the opposite way, but I think the Rams are rolling. I'm going to take the over too because the Rams overs are, I think, completed like almost 70% of the time too. They've hit. So I'll take the over 53.5. And then I'll take the Rams minus 7.5 because I hate it so much.
Okay. All right. So getting into cards. So Mike, since you're new to the show, here's what we do here. You'll do your entire card, give your dog of the week, save your lock for the end. If Ted, if you want to lead us off, you can show Mike the ropes here.
Yeah. I know we talked on most of these games, but I like the Packers at that plus 7.5. I'll take the Saints -6 in that divisional matchup at home. I really do like the Rams here as much as it seems like I don't like it. I'm going to take it -7.5, and I'll take that over 53.5 with the points. I think, that garbage time touchdowns, whether they're up 14-17. I really do like Vegas here against the Giants. I can't really tell why. I know it's like a West Coast team going to the East Coast.
Body clock week. We had one of those.
Well, it's not a 1 o'clock game, right?
It is.
I think it is.
Oh, all right. Maybe I don't like that anymore.
Come on, we had a body clock week a couple weeks ago, and you know how we were feeling after that.
I'll still put the Raiders on there. I think they'll show out, and they've been through a lot this season. Again, I don't know why I just thought about that worst performance of the week. Henry Ruggs, you absolute fucking moron. Sorry, but you're an absolute moron. You just ruined your life.
Yep.
Don't really feel bad. Feel bad for the person that died. R.I.P. But then I will also be taking the Panthers against the Patriots. That was a big win for them last week. I think the Panthers have to, they got to win those games out of conference or out of the division. Keep that playoff contention going. Then I'll save my lock, but My dog of the week, Cleveland Browns. Dog pound. I'm going to keep betting on them until they really, really break my heart, and then I probably won't take them next year at all. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the dog pound against Cincy.
Noah, your card.
All right, so my card, I'm going to start doing this every week. I'm going to have my rat line of the week, and I'm going to have my square pick of the week because I feel like I get burned on this every single week. My rat line of the week is the Raiders -3 at the Giants. I have to take the Raiders because how can I not take the Raiders at -3 against the Giants? But I'm going to get screwed by that because that's my rat line of the week. Then my square pick of the week, I mentioned it earlier, is the Bengals -2.5 versus the Browns. I am taking the Jags plus 14.5 versus the Bills.
You're
God bless
crazy.
you.
You're crazy.
This is my Manning curse pick of the week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Josh Allen was on the Manning cast this Monday, and every single player that has gone on the Manning cast has lost the week after. I really find it hard to believe that the Bills will lose to the Jaguars, but at the very least, the Jaguars might cover the spread. And I've added 2 since we've started talking here. I will be taking Packers plus 7.5 at the Chiefs. I talked myself into it. And another one that I don't know why I'm picking. This is a gross pick, but I will be taking the Vikings plus 6 at the Baltimore Ravens.
You're disgusting.
I know.
You're disgusting.
Hold on.
Stay away.
Hear me out. The Ravens have a tendency to get into very close games that have no business being close. They beat the Lions by 2. They beat the Chiefs by 1. They lost to the Raiders. In the Colts game, they almost lost that. If it wasn't because of Carson Wentz's just sheer incompetence, they could have very easily lost that. I have been on the Raiders' ass, or not the Raiders, the Ravens' ass all year. I don't think they're as good as their record shows. I don't see it. They are a good team. They're not a great team. And the Vikings, on the other hand, are also in a lot of close games. They lost to 1 against the Cardinals. They lost to they beat the Panthers by 4. They lost to the Cowboys by 4. They beat the Lions by 2. The only game where they lost more than by 4 points was the Browns in the dumbest game that was ever played. So I feel like 6 is just a lot of points for the Vikings here. And I think they might cover that. My dog of the
week, like the Vikings, Noah. I don't want to take them. I'm just gonna stay away.
It's a gross pick, and I feel like I have to take it because it's gross. It's just the Vikings. They're always in close games. Both of these teams are in close games. I feel like
you know what the Vikings are? The Vikings are Pizza Fridays in middle school when they had like the little sticks, and you were like, "I'm so excited for Fridays. It's gonna be the best." And you eat those pizza sticks, and then you ask yourself, "Why did I eat those freaking pizza sticks and that fake marinara sauce?" That's what the Vikings are.
But not all of us have lactate.
They're gonna lose. They're gonna lose.
Oh, God.
I can digest dairy, so I never had a problem with Pizza Fridays.
I love Pizza Fridays.
Oh, gosh.
I'm not saying they're gonna win. They're definitely gonna lose this game, but 6 just seems like a lot for 2 teams that are always in close games. And then to wrap up, for all the reasons mentioned, Titans plus 7.5 at the Rams are my dogs of the week without Derrick Henry.
And then Jeff, your card here.
All right, so the favorites I'm going through, I got the Saints -6. I got the Bills -14.5. I think anybody who is in the presence of Eli Manning is probably going to start to play like him, meaning they're going to probably become a Hall of Famer one day, probably first ballot. So I think he's coming off that high. I think they're probably going to win by like 45, 55 points or so. Lock that in now. I'm taking the Rams -6. Vikings stink. So I can never bet on them ever. Kirk Cousins has burnt me too many times. I don't even really bet on them. They just vicariously through Tony, they just burn him so much that it ends up hurting me just as a friend. My lock of the week is the Rams -7.5, like I mentioned earlier, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. And my dog of the week, New York Football Giants +3. I'm also taking the Browns +2.5 or +3, whatever the number is set at, as a dog as well. I'm also introducing the Atomic Dog Parlay. For those that are not aware, Atomic Dog is the greatest song of all time. Atomic Dog Parlay, it's the Giants +3 and the Browns +2.5. That's about plus 250 or so, depending on your book. My big business book has it about plus 250. Also, might sprinkle the money lines for both of them. Gets you up to 4-1 odds. How does that lose?
It's a great question. I don't know. Not sure how that loses.
We'll find out Sunday.
All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 picks. 7 of them are dogs. So starting with Thursday, Colts minus 10.5. The Jets are still bad. And Mike White played out of his mind. He's not going to do that this week. He's probably going to play really shitty this week, and he's going to look awful, and people will be like, God, I never want to watch this guy again. They should. It's like when you see a really good movie and then they make the sequel, and you're like, well, why would they do that? That's Mike White. He'll be terrible on Thursday.
What about like Linsanity?
He'll just stink.
Wait, what about what, Mike?
Linsanity, man. If it's NBA crossover,
Oh,
you never
yeah.
know.
Well,
Never
Chuck, what if it's kind of like a Godfather? See, like Godfather trilogy. Like
Yeah.
the second time, it's incredible. It's almost better than the
Chuck,
first.
and
And then you're really on the hook. And then you're like, you know what? I
You're
want
not-
around 3, and then you just get let down. Why did they even make the third one? Get rid of this guy.
Who was sorry. Need to put my lock in. All right, Texans plus 6.5. I believe Tyrod Taylor's playing, and they're actually pretty competitive with Tyrod Taylor. Dolphins shouldn't be a 6.5 point favorite against anyone. Let's go with the Texans here. Atlanta plus 6 at the Dome. We already talked about. Bears plus 6.5 at the Steelers. The Steelers have a tendency to play really close games. It's on a Monday night. The primetime games have all been pretty good. I think it just brings out the best in teams. I think the Bears would keep it close. I don't think they could win. But with the Steelers' offensive line, like their offense their offense is the struggle bus. It'll be kind of like the Seahawks game is how I see that one. Titans plus 7.5. New England minus 3.5. Sam Darnold, if you recall, said he was seeing ghosts. I think it was the last time he played Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick against him again. Really like the Patriots in the spot. Browns plus 2.5. And my dog of the week, after all those dogs, I'm with you, Noah. The Vikings plus 6 at Baltimore.
Thank you.
The Ravens have a tendency to play close games. The Vikings have a tendency to play up and down to their competition. When favored by more than 3 this year, Baltimore 0-3 against the spread. The Vikings should be able to find success against this Ravens defense. I think they could win the game, Mike. I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Vikings can go in and steal a win from the Ravens.
Gambler's fallacy, man.
Chuck and Noah, you guys give me Ajita. I don't
Look, I won't disagree. I think Mike Zimmer is on the hot seat. The team kind of looks a little out of it, but they have too much talent on the field there. They could win outright. I don't think
too much talent.
Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. You could have any quarterback out there, and they're going to.
Dude, if you put me in there, I would throw for 400, but that's because I'm significantly better than
Forget
Kirk
about
Cousins.
Greg
And I
Joseph.
played JV as a freshman, so I know good football.
Greg Joseph, our kicker. Put me in, coach. I'll hit a 35-yarder consistently through the uprights. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust him. Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay. Do I close
Didn't
it
even get
out?
you started, Mike. Jeez.
Do I close it out?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with my over-unders. I'm taking 2 overs immediately. I'm taking the Cowboys over. The Cowboys over has hit 72% of the time this season, and I'm taking the Rams over, like I said, 70% of the time. Pure statistic move, not betting with my eyeballs. Now, when it comes to spreads, I'm taking the Jets plus.
What are those numbers?
The number is
For those
I had it up
overs.
here. 49.5 for the Cowboys Broncos. And then the other one, Rams, 53.5 against Tennessee. Lock it in. I love the Jets plus 10.5 against the Colts. Carson Wentz and Sam Bradford, the most inconsistent team, one of the most inconsistent teams this year. Not saying that. I think this might be a barn burner. I think they might even score like 20 points total, but I think they cover. Love the Bills minus 14.5. Like you touched on before, the Bills, they're a team of destiny, but also it's their year to lose it in the AFC. Like I don't really see anyone else gonna truly contend after Derrick Henry goes down. Cleveland's a dumpster fire, in my opinion. They're dysfunctional, and I think it's just anyway, it's just gonna spiral down there. So I won't go on that. I probably will add the Vikings to my card on the day of and maybe money line because I am a psychopath. So to go on to my lock of the week, I think I know my lock of the week is the Bengals against Cleveland. I was vocal before. I think 2.5 might be a cheese line, might be a rat line. But I personally think Cleveland is a sinking ship. I don't think they're an organization that knows how to win. You could say the same thing about the Bengals, but I feel like there's a lot more control of what's going on at this current moment. And then my dog of the week. Now, everyone here besides Jeff, close your ears, but I love the Birds plus 1.5. And I'll tell you why, is because I think the Chargers minus 1.5, what Vegas is telling us, I think that's a rat line. I think the public's going to be on the Chargers. I think that line might move. So I'm interested to see. I'm probably not going to touch it. I'm going to wait until maybe it goes to 2. But I love the Birds in this situation. They might not win. They might lose by 1 or 2, or they might win outright. I don't know, but I actually like them to cover as a dog of the week. The Chargers might just be the Chargers, and I think we just jumped on them too early. They might be good, but like every year you think about this September, like, are the Chargers back? We kind of say it. This year it's more prominent. They got the injuries start kicking in. I'm not wishing injuries on anyone, but that's what typically happens with this team. The Vikings and them are pretty much cousins. No pun intended there, but Birds are my dog of the week.
Two things about what you just said, Mike. The first thing, Justin Herbert was limited in practice today with a right hand injury. The second, which you said the injury thing, I think that's important there. The second is, as of today, 78% of the public is on the Chargers, and the line has moved from 2 to 1.5 already.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know.
Since I have a feeling I know what Noah's lock of the week is, you want to rebut?
What? You think that I would bet against my Eagles?
Yeah.
Well, you're goddamn right,
talk about
because my
games
lock
until
of the week
Sunday.
is the Los Angeles, my San Diego Superchargers at minus 1.5.
How do you bet against your team?
Because the Eagles are terrible. The only reason why this line is at 1.5 is because they won 44-6. That is never going to happen again. The Eagles are awful. The Lions just suck even more. The Chargers, they have made me very sad the last 2 games. I am still going to ride them through the whole year. I have lots of money on them to win the Super Bowl. I have lots of money on them to win over 10.5 games. I am going to bet on them every single week. And 1.5 is just a gift. That is free money.
I'll tell you.
Take it. The Eagles are not going to be able to defend that offense. The Nick Sirianni is going to try to run the ball. I know the Chargers have a bad run defense, but it's not going to work this week because it's only going to work against the Lions. It's not going to be a close game at all until the fourth quarter, of course, when Jalen Hurts scores 2 touchdowns to make it a 38-26 game. But that's really all it's going to be.
I'll tell you, if I remember going to the trenches. Oh my God! No,
Probably,
no.
yeah.
Wait. Hold on 1 second. No, if I remember going in the trenches, I'm never going to tell you pick up your hard hand and come with me. You're not a trenches guy. I'm asking Stretch. I'm asking Ted. No way. I touch it. I just don't even look at the game. You can't even look at the game, even if you love them so much. You just like put it to the side. All right. You have your ESPN notifications on. Right. You're just looking. You just don't even watch the game. Don't even look at it. You can't.
I am not only going to watch that game, I am going to bet on the Chargers and root for them that whole time. I have been all in on the Chargers this year.
What was it?
The Eagles, I don't care if the Eagles win another game this year, as long as they get a better
Are you wearing the bird sweatshirt right now?
Yeah, yes.
Take it off. Take it off.
I can't even.
Bitch. How dare you go against your team?
That's a mortal sin.
It's not my team as long as Nick Sirianni is the head coach. Get him out of Philadelphia.
Not my head coach.
Go pander to Detroit. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, at the MCDC.
Yeah, whoa, man, that hurts.
Come on.
Yeah, let him go to Detroit. He can
Win a
be
couple Super Bowls.
Dan Campbell's offensive coordinator, and he can wear AC/DC t-shirts at the press conference.
Teddy, your lock of the week.
Lock of the week, 49ers. As more and more we talk about it, I like it a lot. I hope they probably drop a point or two and then take them money line and just that point.
Kyle Shanahan's record against the spread is ridiculous as a dog too. I don't have it in front of me, but it's somewhere in like the 60-70% range. He's insane as a dog. He sucks as a
I
favorite.
love it even more now. This is the time. I feel like also a little media thing where like Cardinals will drop 2 straight and everyone freaks out like, oh, are they actually that good? And it was just they had that early stretch, even though they're still a really good football team. But the Niners got to make some noise in that division, and why not right now?
Stretch, your lock of the week.
I think I already like a D today. I already went through it, but Rams -7.5. I think I kind of like the Niners as like a semi lock and a half of the week.
You want to have 2 locks?
Like I said earlier, I mean not 2 locks because I can't be that guy to have 2 locks. Somebody wants to be that guy, but
You're not that guy.
I'll say this: if the Rams -7.5 wasn't my lock, the 49ers would be my lock, but they're not.
Okay. No.
I would just like to say I just placed 2.5 units on the Chargers -2.5.
2.5.
Yes.
Alternate spread.
No, I went up to -2.5. And I am very well prepared to put them 2.5 more depending on where the line goes.
Whoa!
I'm going big. I'm going big dollars on the Chargers.
Big
this
dollars.
week.
You did say earlier that all of your big bets were losing.
And you know what?
He's due.
This one's going to be different. I am due.
I'll see you Wednesday.
I think it's Matt Ferry fading himself. Like if Ferry wants his team to win, he bets against them.
That is true.
Could this be? Noah's?
The Eagles are going to break my heart this week by winning.
Yeah, my lock of the week's the Packers. Chiefs can't cover. They're not covering a spread this week. Packers can win the game. Vegas, the NFL lines are too sharp. It opening at 2.5 for the Packers, it's going to be around that. Like if the Chiefs win, it'll be a 3-point win. So I love +7.5 in Arrowhead. Jordan Love's first start. He makes some noise.
You know what? I might take the Chargers at an alternate spread. I might take a -6.5.
Jesus.
Just sprinkle a little bit on there.
Eagles have a family, man. What are you doing? God damn.
Dude, someone was
That's
saying
ruthless.
it. The Raiders, who has Vegas, I kind of like them too. It's not going to be an official play yet. That'll be one I bet day of. It comes around.
Yeah, they're -3.
Yeah.
Don't bet against my Giants. Don't you dare.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah, I
guys.
like
Not a good idea.
The last 2 weeks I did bet on the Giants. They're coming through for me.
Yeah, hell yeah, they are.
All right, they beat the
Well.
Panthers, and then they probably should have won the other night. Monday
Yeah, I
night.
don't know. I'm not gonna say should have won. I mean, honestly, I went to bed at halftime. I was like, you know what? I'm not watching the rest of this shit. They're probably gonna lose in a heartbreaker, like typical Giants fashion, or they're gonna win, and I'll read about it in the paper. Not that anybody does that anymore, but that's just something my dad always said growing up. Whenever we were told to go to bed while the game was still on, I'll see it in the paper. In the morning.
Bergen County record.
Yep.
The
Trying
art
to be
ledger.
undefeated every Sunday.
All right. Any closing thoughts before we wrap up here?
Closing thoughts: if the Formula One race was a week later, Teddy would have to get a fucking tattoo.
That is true.
Teddy said, when we were in Austin for the F1 race, Zach and I had an agreement that if a Ferrari won the race, we'd get Ferrari logos tattooed on us somewhere. We were like, Ted, you need some skin in the game. He was like, all right, if the Birds win by 32, I'll get a tattoo. They did not that week, but next week they go and put up like a 38-point win or whatever the fuck the number was.
Oh.
He should have got a tattoo.
That's really funny, actually. I forgot about that.
I was confident that we would not beat the Raiders in Vegas by 30 plus. So I would not have done that against the Lions.
Yeah.
Okay. Always next year.
All right, and yeah, that's the show. So
We do have a guest picker this week.
Oh,
I forgot
does
to
he have
mention
picks?
it.
Does he
Yes,
have
he
picks
does have
submitted?
picks.
Okay.
So this is an old friend of mine. He's Chettleman Steve on Twitter at that's G_risky. His name's Matt. Shout out
Now,
Matt.
before you start, the last guest picker. I fucked it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The last guest picker was 7-1. So the guests are hot.
The guests are hot. So this week, the guests have Cleveland money line at plus 120.
Yeah, it's plus 2.5.
So it's plus, I guess plus 2.5. So then we have Chicago plus 6.5. We have the New England Carolina under 43.5. And finally under 1,500.5 fans in the stands for Miami Houston game this week.
That's pretty funny.
So it's only 3 picks. So Cleveland plus 2.5, Chicago plus 6.5, New England, Carolina under 43.5.
Okay. Awesome. See if the guests keep leading. And then Zako's first week. How did you feel? Good about your card? Confident?
I feel good. I took a conservative card, just a conservative approach. You don't want too many, and also my bankroll is not as big as the start of the season. But hey, we look up.
Yep. Vikings money line. If you know what's good for you this week, folks.
Oh God.
Send it. I just need to hear some good vibes. Maybe I see a ship or two on TV that's giving me a sign, and they're like, "Oh, ships. What does that entail?" Like, hammer.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. The signs have to add up.
All right. That's it. We're ending on that.
See you guys next week.